and welcome to this week's episode of the Self-Improvement Project. I hope you've all had a wonderful week getting closer to Christmas, and today I'm excited to talk to you about bring you an episode around stopping to plan your self-development, or to best put it, not doing self-development for the sake of self-development. Now, you might be thinking, but Lawrence, all you do is talk about self-development, so surely you should be telling me to be doing it as much as possible. But this is something that's been on my mind for a few weeks, and I really like to discuss the different elements of self-development and explore how we can make it in the most effective that we can for each other. And during this podcast episode today, I want to discuss these reasons and thinking behind why planning our own self-development is maybe the wrong thing to do. Why goals and milestones and achievements that we reach sometimes leave us feeling empty, and why who you want to be and want to become is the most important aspect of self-development and success for you. And at the end, I want to share with you my one secret that I believe is the key to all of our self-development. So strap yourselves in as we discuss this. So, the topic of self-development. Why should we not plan for this? Now, I personally don't know anybody more passionate than myself about self-development, so surely I should be on the side of the fence where I should argue for planning our self-development. But sometimes we hinder ourselves by giving ourselves the constraints of different types of self-development, making sure that we exercise a certain amount per day, read, write, etc., etc. Now, there is the argument that I've given in previous episodes of creating a habit and creating consistency around that, which is important, I agree. However, sometimes when we continually batter ourselves with it, we end up resenting it and not doing it long term. And this is where we need to find what works for us. Reading should be purely enjoyment, out of curiosity to discover new things and take an interest. Writing should be a way of dumping all of your thoughts onto paper because you're maybe overwhelmed. You maybe feel like you have to share it out with your own mind. It shouldn't be to write to become better at writing as the sole purpose. Unless obviously your dream is to become a best-selling author. So I want to provoke your thought here in the sense of A, not putting the pressure on yourself to do self-development all the time, and making sure that you're only successful if you do self-development all the time, and also challenging you to think of how can I use self-development in a holistic way, almost in a subconscious way, so that not just for the next year, but for the rest of your life, you are on a constant journey of self-development. During my journey looking at what self-development is and what it should entail, it actually encompasses everything in life. From traveling and pushing yourself out your comfort zone, to career, where you should have a stable job and know what you want to do, or exploring all the different things that you should maybe do as well. Or simply the joy that you can get out of every single day. And this is where I want us to think about the process of goals, milestones, achievements. And when we... And this is something that has challenged my thought over recent months. And we should be using them in the most effective way possible, but also making them a part of who we are. We should not stop after we reach a goal. A goal should be made up of components of the person that you want to become in the future and create a legacy from. Say, for example, if you're quite a sport-orientated person, you should not have a singular goal to run a marathon or win a trophy. Your legacy and who you are is always being involved in sport, regardless of what achievements you gain or whatever goals you manage to achieve during your life. And this links nicely into things that I've talked about previously, where we talk about systems. And have you ever been in a situation where you've had a goal or a milestone that you want to reach, and you get that initial buzz of motivation from it, which is great, but everyone's experienced those days where they're not motivated? Why is that? And that is the point where we think, do I really want this? And ultimately asking ourselves, is this who I am? Is this who I want to become? And is this who, or is this how I want to be remembered by? So whenever you're thinking of goals, milestones and achievements that you want, there's nothing wrong with that. I have them. But you need to create a system where you're consistent, where you create a positive habit, and you're patient about it. That system will help you reach your goal. And that system creates the person that you want to become. So, the next time you're thinking of self-development, I want to be better at having difficult conversations. I want a promotion in my job. I want to be able to hold more interesting conversations with people. I want to do a triathlon. These are things that you need to create systems around. You're not going to become better at having good conversations and interesting conversations by doing it once. You need to become an interesting person. You need to take interest in other people. You want to run a triathlon. You are not going to train every day until the triathlon. You need to be thinking, I'm going to do a triathlon, but I'm going to be an athlete for the rest of my life. That's the mindset that you need for becoming this person that you want to. So this is where self-development encompasses everything that we do. It's not a chore that we carry out. It is a system that you have in place to become the best version of yourself. And the reason for that is that when we reach a goal, we always have that empty feeling of, what's next? This is something that I've chatted about before, and I will chat about more in the future. That what's next syndrome, that not being content with just being, and just really appreciating the great things that you've achieved already, and that being enough. Success, the definition of success can be subjective for every individual on earth. However, on reflection of what I've just talked about, it's important that you become really familiar with what you think success is for you. Success can be having a really simple life, creating a really calm, peaceful life for yourself, and by having that tranquility, that is success for you. Success might be being at the front of everyone's minds, or being groundbreaking in a certain area, in business, or in an industry that you really care about. But who you want to become, and knowing that, is the only thing that's going to feed that. It's the only thing that's going to feed that success. So if you base your success on reaching different goals every other month, every other year, are you really looking at who you want to become overall? And looking back in decades' time, thinking, was that the right thing for me to do? Was that what I really wanted? And these are the big questions you need to ask yourselves now around what success is to you. So I want to finish with my one secret for self-development for the long term, and that is self-awareness. There's a book that I want to read called, I think it's called Self-Awareness, by an author called Anthony DeMello, I believe. It's on my list, but self-awareness is the most powerful tool you can have for your self-development. Knowing what you want, knowing where you are, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses are, knowing how you can get that, all come from self-awareness. So I want to leave you with that. Self-awareness might be something I touch on in the future, but I want to leave it there for just now and let you stew on that thought. And that's this week's episode. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks again for listening. I really, really do appreciate everybody that spends the time listening to this, wherever you are in the world. And I want to know how this benefits you. I would love for you to share with me what works for you, what doesn't work for you. What's an episode that you've listened to of mine that you've used something and it's worked, or vice versa? How could it be better? What worked for you? I don't have all the answers. So from this week's episode, if there's anything from goal setting, planning your self-development, creating systems, self-awareness that has worked for you, I would love to hear from you. I would love to learn about what works for you and what doesn't, So share with me on Twitter. I've recently changed my handle to Self Growth Life, which I'll put in the show notes for you. So come find me on Twitter, share a message with me, share with me what really works for you or what's helped you so far on your journey for self-development. So thanks again for listening, and I hope you all have an amazing week. Cheers! Hello everyone, me again. Just wanted to say a quick thanks for taking the time to listen to the Self-Improvement Project. Whether that's your first episode or whether you've listened to every episode, I am eternally grateful for your support. If you want to keep up to date and in the loop with everything Self-Improvement Project, please hit that subscribe button and allow the podcast to grow and continue to deliver the best content for yourself and others. If you found that beneficial or useful or helpful in any way, please share with me what you found useful, what you've really taken away, what's worked, but also share it with people that you love. Share it with people that you think would benefit from it as well, and allow more people to improve themselves and their life. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Cheers.